The fence came down in minutes, but the truth took months to uncover. What looked like a small HOA dispute would reveal a shocking secret buried beneath authority. Mark Reynolds had lived peacefully in his suburban home for over a decade. His wooden fence marked the boundary of his property, built exactly where the surveyor had placed it years ago. One morning, he returned from work to find the fence torn apart. HOA workers stood nearby, claiming it violated community rules. Mark protested, but they handed him a notice and walked away. Days later, heavy machinery appeared. Behind his yard, the HOA's shared pool area expanded aggressively. Chairs, tiles, and concrete crept closer to his home. Emails went unanswered. Phone calls were ignored. At the next HOA meeting, Mark was silenced and warned not to interfere. Neighbors watched quietly. Fines followed. Stress consumed him. Something felt deeply wrong. Late one night, Mark reviewed old property documents. A faint memory surfaced. The original boundary marker near the fence had never changed. That night, he realized this wasn't about rules. It was about land. And the HOA knew exactly what they were doing. Mark hired a licensed surveyor despite the cost. Within days, bright flags dotted the ground, outlining property lines clearly. The results were undeniable. The HOA pool crossed onto Mark's land by several feet. When he shared the report with the board, their tone changed. Friendly warnings turned cold. They accused him of manipulating data. Another violation notice arrived, followed by threats of legal action. The pool construction continued. Mark felt trapped inside his own home. His lawyer advised patience and evidence. During research, they uncovered archived HOA emails discussing the fence removal weeks before it happened. The decision was intentional. They believed Mark would never fight back. Construction workers avoided eye contact now. Neighbors whispered apologies. The power imbalance was clear. But Mark refused silence. He filed a formal complaint with the county. That action alone triggered panic. HOA leaders rushed meetings behind closed doors. For the first time, their confidence cracked. Still, no one expected what the investigation would soon reveal. County inspectors arrived early one morning. They measured, photographed, and reviewed permits. The HOA tried to stall, claiming shared use agreements. The inspectors weren't convinced. Records showed the pool was approved without confirming updated boundaries. Mark's fence had been the visual cover hiding the mistake. Once removed, the truth was exposed. The HOA blamed contractors. Contractors blamed the board. Responsibility bounced around the room. Mark watched calmly. The county issued a stop work order. The pool closed instantly. HOA members grew hostile. Anonymous complaints targeted Mark's home. Yet each inspection cleared him. Discovery uncovered something worse. The HOA had planned to acquire his land quietly after construction, hoping legal pressure would force him to sell cheap. Emails confirmed it. The case moved to court. Media interest followed. What began as a fence dispute had become a public example of power abuse. And the courtroom would soon decide who truly owned the ground beneath the water. The courtroom was silent as evidence stacked up. Survey maps, emails, permits, and timelines painted a clear picture. The judge listened without interruption. The HOA's lawyers struggled to justify their actions. Mark testified calmly, explaining how his peace was shattered piece by piece. The judge ruled decisively. The pool had been built on Mark's land without consent. The HOA was ordered to remove the encroachment and restore the property. Gasps filled the room. But the ruling went further. The judge cited intentional misconduct and emotional distress. Financial penalties followed. The HOA board sat frozen. Outside, cameras flashed. Mark felt relief mixed with disbelief. The fence had been the smallest part of the story. What mattered was accountability. And this decision would ripple far beyond one backyard. The pool was dismantled within weeks.
Concrete was broken.
Tiles were removed.
Grass slowly returned.
The HOA faced audits, resignations, and new elections.
Members demanded transparency.
Rules were rewritten. Mark rebuilt his fence, stronger and higher, exactly on the surveyed line.
Neighbors thanked him quietly. Some admitted they had feared retaliation for years. The county placed the HOA under monitoring. Legal experts referenced the case publicly. It became a warning.
Mark never sought attention, but his stand changed the balance of power. His home felt peaceful again.
Yet the emotional weight lingered.
He realized how easily authority could overstep when silence was expected. His refusal to disappear had protected more than just his land. Life slowly normalized.
The HOA meetings were calmer now. Questions were welcomed. Decisions were documented. Mark declined leadership roles, choosing distance over influence. He donated part of his settlement to homeowner advocacy groups. Letters arrived from strangers facing similar battles.
The fence stood firm, no longer just wood, but a symbol.
Mark understood the real victory wasn't legal. It was reclaiming dignity.
The pool incident faded, but its lesson remained etched into the community's memory.
Power had limits.
And those limits mattered. Years later, new residents heard the story during casual conversations.
The fence, once torn down, now represented resistance. Mark lived quietly. Content.
The shocking twist was never the pool or the fence.
It was how close he came to losing everything simply by staying silent.
Property lines proved the truth, but courage protected it. His story reminded everyone that ownership isn't just measured in feet and inches. It's measured in the willingness to stand firm when pressure demands surrender, and that was the final twist in this unbelievable HOA story. If you loved the drama, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment sharing your thoughts. It really helps this channel grow.